So let's jump right in, shall we? John in New Hampshire wants to know, who has been your favorite guest on the show? Who was your least favorite? That's a really easy question to answer because the answer to both is actually Norm Macdonald. He's the best guest we've ever had on, and he's also the worst guest we've ever had on. But that's actually why he's the best guest, because you never really know what he's going to bring to the table. He's usually the funniest. I'm mostly kidding, because usually he's so funny. But every once in a while, he's just got some weird observations, and I'm not talking about when he told us about his ventriloquist act. That was amazing. So every once in a while, you're not really sure what it is that's on his mind, but there's always some gold in there somewhere. Sometimes you just have to pan a little harder than others. It's always worth it to have Norm on the show. So he's probably one of my favorite guests. It's I guess generally, if I'm going to pick out bad guests, though, like seriously bad guests, it's probably going to be, like, there's something to be said for a guest segment that doesn't go well, like when we had David Carradine on, or we had on this guy he was coming on to talk about Israel, but I think he didn't like Israel, and his name was not the name that we'd been given. It just went so badly that I think it ended after about 40 seconds. But those are bad segments, but actual bad guests to me are probably people who just come on and they're not really there to have a conversation. They just know, like, all right, for these 8 minutes I'm going to plug, my book or my movie, or my book and my movie. And I don't mean like Gene Simmons. There's an art to what Gene does, where he talks about his life, he talks about his career, and then he tells you that you can also get the kiss coffin. I mean, and he says it all with a straight face. It's very entertaining. But I'd say more recently we had Judy Collins on, and Andy McDowell. She came on, and each of them, they did sort of the similar thing, where they really didn't want to talk about anything. They didn't want to have a conversation. They just had something to sell, and in Judy's case, she had like 4 things to sell. So it just sort of leaves a bad taste in your mouth when somebody does that, because it's not that hard to fake it. It's really easy to have a conversation and just throw in, oh yeah, well, I was out doing press for my new CD, and then this happened. But instead, you just, and people can go and buy it, and it's on, Amazon, and, so, I don't know. I don't really like those sort of segments, but I'd say that those are probably the worst. The best segments are the people like Norm or, Nick DiPaolo, somebody who comes on. DiPaolo's great because he'll give me a list of like 4 things. He's like, yeah, have Dennis ask me about these. And then he'll do like 15 minutes on those. And usually we don't even get to all the topics because Nick's so funny. So those are probably the best and worst arrangements there. Let's see what else we have.
Enjoy these samples of the Bathrobe Sessions, a weekly video available only to members of the DMZ, the Dennis Miller Zone, on DennisMillerRadio.com.